In today's video, I'm going to show you how I tried something new, and in the end, it really didn't work out. But I'm also going to show you how we resolved it.
A few weeks ago, I received a commission unlike most others. The customer reached out to me with a simple request to forge a blade in honor of his mother who had just recently passed away. Now, as a bladesmith, of course, I'm used to making things that are functional. I make tools, hunting knives, camp knives, axes, all sorts of different things to serve a purpose. But every so often, I'll get an order to make something that means more than that. An order just like this. This blade is something that carries a story and a memory. You see, I had never even met his mother. And now I'm given the responsibility of trying to forge a blade to represent the entirety of a person and to serve as a legacy of her memory. And with that responsibility in mind, I wanted to try something special. It was a technique that I had seen, but I'd never tried it before. So I chose a mystery steel to serve as the center core of this blade, where I would then wrap it with Damascus. So I drew out the bar of Damascus, I folded it over arm itself, and I stretched it out. And then I forged this wave pattern, so that once I was done forging it out, hopefully I would be able to make this flowy pattern fit the shape of the blade. But unfortunately, I was met with a catastrophic failure. Try though I might, those forge welds were having a very difficult time staying together. Even when I finally got them set, if I were to hammer it and put any pressure on it, it would soon pop. Now I've been forging for 10 years, and I'm very confident in my forge welds, so I was really struggling to figure out what I was doing wrong. But then I remembered years ago where I faced this same situation because I was using a steel that had a high chromium and vanadium content. And so sure enough, after a little bit of testing on the steel that I used, this was very similar to that alloy, and is notorious for being difficult to forge weld. So instead, I decided to switch it up. I chose another piece of mild steel, and I forged it out, forge welded it to itself to make sure that it was an alloy that would stick well together, and it did. Sometimes the only option is to completely start over. And so, that's exactly what I did. I started over, and it was more deliberate. I slowed down, and I chose my materials carefully, instead of letting a rookie mistake and my excitement run away with me. And the more that I thought about it, the more that it seemed fitting for this piece. Because this commission wasn't really about perfection. This was about loss. It was about continuing forward after something precious is lost. And in a strange way, the failure of that first blade became a part of this story. That loss wasn't just the end. It was simply part of the path that led to something different. This story hasn't ended, it just changed directions. We're not replacing something that was lost, but we're carrying it with us into whatever comes next. So I cleaned the slate, I prepared new material, and I began again. This time with a clearer vision and a deeper appreciation for what this piece represented. And it's important to remember that failure has a way of teaching us things that success simply can't do. As the new blade began to take shape, I found myself thinking less about steel and more about legacy. The fact is that most of us won't have statues built in our honor, but that's not really how legacy even works. Legacy lives in the people that we've impacted, the lives we've touched, the lessons we pass on, the kindness that we've shown, the sacrifices that we've made for other people. This would be the way that I would capture her memory so that it could be carried on in some small way. Her memory will live on in this blade. And while it's true that I want this finished piece to feel worthy of the person that it's meant to honor, the fact of the matter is, no matter how much effort I would put into this, there would always be a part of me wondering if I did it just right. And that's part of being a craftsman. You see, it comes all full circle, really. We pour ourselves into the work, and then we have to let it go. We send it to its owner, and we hope that it means something to that person receiving it. So what I can say is this. I'm honored to have been trusted with this project. I'm honored to play even a small role in preserving someone's memory. And I'm grateful that people continue to see value in handmade things. Not because they're perfect, not because they're expensive, but because they carry stories. Stories of struggle, stories of perseverance, stories of the people who came before us. And that's a part of what craftsmanship has always been about. It's not just making things, but it's creating things that will outlive us. Things that remind us of where we've been, who we've loved, and that remind us of what matters the most. So while this blade began as a commission, somewhere along the way it became something more. A reminder that loss is not always the end of a story. Sometimes it's the beginning of a new chapter, a different road. And just like steel in the fire, we don't always emerge unchanged. But with enough patience, enough effort, something memorable can still be made.